is not performing very well. There's a number of reasons why this could be happening. It may not necessarily be your fault. In this lecture, we're going to evaluate why your campaign or ad group is not performing well and what to do about it. By the end of the lecture, you'll know what to do if a campaign is not performing. The first thing you can do is take a look at the CTR, or the click-through rate. This number indicates the percentage of people that saw your ad and how many of them actually clicked on and go through. If this number is lower than your average, it means the creative is not very interesting. So what you can do in this case is try a new creative or a new video. Another option is that maybe it's just not your ad's fault. There's several macro events that affect the prices. For example, there's a normal fluctuation on a weekly basis. So for example, in your case, maybe Mondays are always cheaper than Fridays. So once you get to Friday, the prices go up. Don't get scared. You need to have sort of enough data so you can look on a weekly basis to see what are good days and what are bad days. It's very normal. Maybe also seasonality. So maybe in the summer it works differently in the winter. So just keep in mind that the price will naturally go up and down. There are other big macro events. For example, once TikTok is very, very popular, and whatever it might be in several months after you start advertising, maybe there'll be a new influx of companies start advertising. That just means there's a lot more competition trying to compete for the attention of the same users. So the price will naturally go up. So consider and look at the other macro events that are affecting your prices. Maybe it's not your ad. Maybe it's just a natural progression of the price and it will increase with time. If none of those are true, that probably means your targeting is not correct. It means that if the click-through rate is good and there's no macro events that you're aware of that are affecting it and the price goes up, that just means probably the targeting is not ideal. So in this case, I would run more tests with different types of targeting for those users with the same creatives until you find one that works really well. If your campaign is working well, but after some time starts to drop in performance or the daily budget will not be actually fulfilled, that's something I covered in the previous lecture in detail. But just to give you an overview, if that happens, what you can do is you can increase the bid, you can broaden the targeting of the users, or you can add new creatives. To recap, now you know that when your ad is not performing very well, you need to check the click-through rate to see if the video is good. You need to look at any macro events that might be affecting it. And if that's not true, you need to change the targeting because that's probably the cause. In the next lecture, we're going to take a look at some more detailed reporting that you can get out of your TikTok ads. I've shown you some of the data that you can look at inside of your campaigns and ad groups, like the click-through rate or cost per result. But there's much more detailed reporting that you can generate inside the TikTok ads. In this lecture, we'll take a look at the detailed reporting, and by the end of the lecture, you'll understand how to generate reports that can help you in your decision-making process and evaluation of the performance of the different ad groups and campaigns. So here we are inside the TikTok Ads Manager, and there's a tab specifically for reporting. So go ahead and click on Reporting, and then to generate a new report, you want to click on Create, and it'll give you an option to create a custom report or from templates. We'll start with the custom report. So there's basically, there are dimensions and metrics that you can choose to compare. So the dimensions might be, for example, the targeting dimensions. So what platforms you've targeted, the placement, gender, locations. If I would select locations, then it would be one of the dimensions over here. And then I could choose a metric to compare with. So for example, metric would be maybe the amount of money I've spent or total cost or the impressions or whatever else. So let's say I'll put in the cost and impressions. Now what this would do is that it would look at all the locations. That might be US, UK, Canada. And it would then spit out the total cost I've spent in each one of those and the impressions gotten in each one of those locations. So that's basically what it would look like. We can also add, just out of curiosity, a click-through rate. So I'm going to go ahead, run and export this report. What you can do is you can also save these reports. So I could name it and then save the report over here. And then I could just go ahead and click on that report and it will be there every time I click on reporting. You can also schedule the running of the report and you can have it sent to an email address. So you can get that. While this is exporting, so I want to show you, I've saved one report over here. As you can see, it runs every day, or this ran once, and it will send to my email address, but you can have it, run every day. And if you want to create from a template, then, for example, you can select ad group performance and ad performance. Go ahead, click on add performance, and then it will select all these dimensions and then compare it with all these metrics. So it's actually quite detailed. And this will generate it for yesterday, but you can select any time period that you want to generate it for. So once you generate and export the report and then you open it, you'll basically get an Excel sheet with all of this data. So it is pretty simple, and this is how you can generate reports. So now you know how to generate fancy reports and impress your coworkers. In the next lecture, we're going to conclude the section on ads in TikTok. Congratulations, you've completed the section on TikTok ads for business. You have learned so much over the past couple of lectures. You know how to open an advertising account, how to start a campaign completely from scratch, how to create ad groups, ads, you know what kind of visuals perform the best. You know how to do targeting, lookalike audiences, custom audiences, how to create even the pixel for your website. So much information, and I cannot wait to hear what's your experience with creating your first TikTok ads for your business. In the next section, we're going to take a look at some more advanced techniques still related to ads and TikTok ads for business. Most we're going to cover on how to create amazing creatives, how to get amazing videos that will outperform anything that you can design yourself, that you can get a designer to do, and how to do it on very, very, very low budget. Join me next.